Hai Bu Nida.
Oke, baik. Saya mulai saja ya, nggak apa-apa ya. Hai Bu Betty. Oke. Good morning, respected teachers, guests, parents, and beloved students. Welcome to Cikal Bincang Bincang, one of the activities in our playground of Cikal learning event. Thank you for your coming today. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I am Nida, and I will be your moderator for this session. Before we begin the students' activities, let me give you a picture of what to expect for the next hour. In this session, we have Sabrina and Sasha from the year 10 Sekolah Cikal Setu that will lead you in their activities where they will have a discussion with the title New to the System. During this session, it is encouraged that the audience participates in the activities. Please write down any question you have for our speakers through the chat feature of YouTube. Without any longer explanation, let's give a round of applause and warm welcome to our students. Sabrina and Sasha, this is your time. Hi, good morning.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, Miss.
Okay, so I think you can share your project here, and please, yes, this is your time. Enjoy.
Okay. Udah kelihatan?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Zulmiata Shanjani, but you can call me Sasha.
My name is Sabrina Taya, but everyone calls me Bina.
And we're from Y10. So we'll be presenting our playground of learning, which is new to the system. Okay, Vida, do you want to explain first?
Okay, so what did we learn as a new student and like a new system for us? Because before going to Cikal, we went to like a normal private school, so we didn't go to an IB school. So going to Cikal is like a new thing for us. And so what we learned overall from all subjects, and including PP, we learned to plan our like schedule, because like planning became a habit after a while, and we started to plan everything from our school life to our personal life, so it won't crash into each other, and we would have time to do homework, projects, and other personal stuff.
Okay, so yeah, we did learn a lot of things throughout the first year in Cikal, and especially a new skill. We learned a lot of new skill, and because we entered a school that has a different system, a whole new system, the way of learning. So we learned a lot of skill. For example, analyzing things, because we had a lot of analyzing books, problems, and then like public speaking or like communicator skills. We had a lot of discussion, group work, or like assignment like speech. And then like in thinking skill as well, we had a lot of analyzing things, research. So it's very different in our previous school. For me personally, it is a very different system. So we did learn a lot. And especially in PP, we clueless about PP at first. So at first we really struggle about that. But throughout working of our PP, like our supervisor, our advisor really helps us, and it really improved our new skill. So there's a lot of things that we learn as a new student in Cikal. So this is our PP. Bina, you can go first.
So my personal project was making a mosaic art with plastic that was around my neighborhood that I collected like every single week. And I used those plastic, I cleaned those so it would be sanitary. And I cut those into tiny pieces and then created an art piece that represents like nature. There's like the beach, there's the sunset and the ocean, and a waterfall. And it took like it wasn't that long to make because it was only cutting the pieces. Cutting the pieces was actually the hardest for me because I kept cutting my hand with the cutter, and it was hard to find specific colors also, and it took about like 3 weeks for three paintings, I guess, and I actually had fun creating it because it was my favorite thing to do as a kid, to make mosaic arts with like newspapers, magazines, and it was just a new material for me.
Yeah, and for me, my personal project, it's called Tentang Mereka. Um, my goal is to like educate teenagers about sexual harassment that often occurs in Indonesia, and it's in the form of IGTV. So I made two IGTV about the experience of teenagers as well the experts, and it is how do I explain it? It's take a very long time, but at the same time, it's a very short time because there's a lot of procrastination. So we learn how to manage our time, and um, as well as the new skill, like we had a lot of research before we take our action in personal project, and then um, there's a lot of research, and it it improves us in many new skill in personal projects. So yeah. So the challenges and how did we overcome it? Okay, so first of all, let us speak about the adaptation, because we were the new student in new school, and adaptation is one of the most difficult things that I think a new student have to face. At first, of course, I think me personally, like I had a lot of difficulties, clueless, struggling about many things. So we try to find out like about how to we can understand the new system and how we be able to understand the lessons and activities. So I overcome it personally by like just dare to like just reach up to the teacher if we don't understand a certain subject or topic, and just reach up to our new friends. Of course, at first it will be like scary or like we're shy. So just like dare to reach up about things that we don't understand.
So another thing that became a challenge was distractions and procrastinations, because during classes we had online classes the whole year, so we didn't guarantee that we won't have any distractions, especially with our phones, since usually we would have our camera off so the teacher won't see us, and we didn't guarantee like there were distractions with our phones, especially during classes. There's like, if it's well it's like there are for me personally, there are some classes that I didn't pay attention due to distractions. Like my phone was just calling my name to open it and play with it. But after a while, I tried to put my phone away, like further from me, so I won't look at it, and then like use it during class, so that I could pay attention. But I tried those, but I also failed from time to time, and I also played with it again. But um, sometimes I just like realize like how important those classes are for later during summatives and formatives, and so I would just like usually I would put my phone in a drawer so I won't look at it and play with it. So yeah, that was actually very helpful for me. And yeah, and for the procrastinations, I think all of us had all of us have felt procrastinating like every time we want to do something, especially like homeworks or projects. During PP, actually, I procrastinated a lot, very, very much. Even in my journal, I kept saying that my problem was procrastinating. And it started to happen a lot. Like usually every like term, I would start off very, very like very powerful. Like I would do all the work on time, but later on during the middle of the term, I would just least like I would procrastinate my work and I would like sometimes just realize like, oh, I have to do this, but maybe but it's due next week, so maybe it's okay, just like wait a little while. And how I overcome it actually just by looking at the schedule, because I get overwhelmed easily when I look at the schedule, and when I see that I already like have many work to do, I would just like start doing it right away, even though I know that some of those work were actually late works. Like for PP, I was still doing the report on the last minute of like submission, and I regret it a lot. And but I could learn from it and use it later or in the future, so I won't do the same thing again.
Yeah, for me, this distraction is beside we can be very overwhelmed and like exhausted and very tired. Distraction is like cause a lot of procrastinations. And for me, I overcome it by in PP from PP actually, because I had a lot of procrastination. So it's I overcome it by I made a list to like the most important and the most urgent things I have to do to the least important and urgent things that I have to do. So it really helps me improve my time management. But until now, of course, I'm still struggling with like the distraction and procrastination. So I'm still working on it. I think we're also working on it. So yeah, because it can be like habits, procrastination, and distractions. So, yeah.
So how will we use the knowledge that we learned in the future? So adapting the knowledge in our daily life, of course, from like what I've learned during like this whole school year, like planning and time managing was very important. So I'm gonna use those skills for my daily life, including personal life, so it won't so I would just have a clean day, so I won't have to think about what I have to do next, since I've already scheduled it like the day earlier or like early in the morning. And if I do that, I think that I would just have a stress-free day personally, since I won't have to think um like what I have to do and stress it out, and I could just like already prepare it the night before or like early in the morning. So yeah.
For me, of course, it's a lot of things that we learn throughout this year. And for me, it's the new skill that we have learned. It's very useful in the future, or like in the year 11 in IBDP. It's going to be very useful because in my previous school, it's more like paper, paper, paper. But in Cikal, it's like a lot of project, discussion, etc. So I think it's going to be very helpful for in the future or like in daily basis. And we have to just add developing the knowledge every day so we can like understand more about the failure we have passed, like or like develop more that we already learned. So yeah, I think that's it for us. Yeah. If we have any question, you can ask us in the caption in the comment.
Okay, thank you, Sasha and Sabrina. That was an amazing journey, actually. I do understand your difficulties, but one question from me is that I think Sabrina can answer first and then Shasha. I know that you have a lot of things to do, school stuff, personal project, and how do you manage your stress level? Because again, you are new students in Cikal, you have to adapt with your environment, and yes, again, what is your what's that strategy about your stress management?
Personally, what I do is like I have days where I just take breaks. So every like Saturday night, I promise myself I won't do anything that can cause any stress for me. So usually after school, I would just like relax, take maybe like a spa day at home, and maybe after that, I would after like the relaxation that I had that day, I would continue my work later on the next day, so I won't be too stressed. And I also have um I have hours where I do like homework. So usually after like I pray Maghrib, I would do my homework right away after like eating dinner and that. And usually after school I would take a break since I would take a break since I already done school. So I would be stressed, and so I just need to take a break, and then I would continue to learn again later that night.
Okay, that's hard, but I appreciate your work hard. Okay, how about Shasha then?
For me, yeah, we have to balance our assignments things, and we have to do and our rest time. But it's still very difficult for me because sometimes we can just when our when we take our time like rest, it can be like a distraction, and it can just like cause more procrastinating things. But as I said before, oh, especially in like during PP and like summative and exams week, we can be like very overwhelmed and stressed. I overcome it. As I said before, I made a list like to the most important until the least important I have to do, and it really helped me. And it 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 made me like stress like more or less. And of course, just like getting on my phone and just take my time, read books, listen to the musics. It can help me for my me time, but I have to like get my motivation back so that I can work on my assignments and stuff. So yeah.
Yes, thank you, Bina and Shasha. Okay, Miss Betty, as do you think the strategies you've tried for yourself can work for other people?
Mm, my answer would be maybe, because every person on earth has different ways to relieve themselves. Maybe they would go on a walk, and maybe they would go on they would take a bubble bath, and for them that would be relaxing. But for other people that it won't be. Like everyone is different overall, so yeah.
I agree with Bina, but one of the strategies that I use is that communicate more if you don't understand a thing, or like you still quite clueless about something. Just like communicate with your friends or your teacher, supervisor, advisor, anyone, and just dare to speak. Because like if for me, if you just don't speak nothing, you don't know anything. Just I think that's for me the strategies, but everyone is different, so they have their own way. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. And next questions for Bina. So what do you usually do to release the stress? As you mentioned before, you have day stress off.
So usually that day I would ask my brother to play like video games with me, and it would just like take a few hours, and then I would go back to my room, and usually if I was still feeling stressed, I would just like meditate, or I would just lie down on the bed and like listen to music, and I would just look up the ceiling, and for me that is very very relaxing. And yeah.
Okay, meditate, relax. Okay, and for Shasha, do you have an activity to release the stress?
I used to dance to release my stress, but due to I'm not dancing anymore, I work out, and maybe I just hang out with my friends and like in apartment staycation, or like to the mall, or maybe like I'm starting to like read more books, and just me time, actually, that like the main activity I.
Okay, again, another questions. How much time do you spend each day on average on virtual learning?
So we usually start school at 8,
Mm-hmm.
usually end at 3 or 2:30, I guess. And usually, for me personally, I would take a break after that because I would look at the computer too much. So I just need a break from the virtual world. And usually it takes about 3 hours, and then after that, I continue uh, to learn like virtually, of course. Yeah.
Okay, and Shasha, is it similar?
Um, yeah, same as Bina, but sometimes we have independence learning too. But like, to be honest, I like to just use that time for like just rest and like me time. But usually after school I like to rest, and then at night um I'm starting to like just complete my assignments, my project, etc. So for me, it's like at night that I continued my work that I have to do.
Okay, from Miss Betty, I think maybe Shasha first, and then after that, Dina. In terms of time and work, are you overall expectation the same as or different from an offline school?
Yes, actually, for me, because for me, how do I say it? In online school, we just like a lot of this distraction, especially like we turn off our camera, and just like there's a lot of distraction. And um, in offline school, when we have like offline school, I I can be more focused on the teacher, on the subject, on the topic, and I can ask my friend like face to face, so I can understand more. I can ask the teacher face to face too, so I can understand more. So I think online school, it's been like really struggling for us, and I can understand more when we do like offline school. So it personally for me, yeah.
Yes. Okay, and Dina?
For me personally, I like going to offline school better because my I'm more productive that way. Like um, meeting the teacher like face to face, and there won't be any like distractions, and like the communication would also be more clear, since like I guess we would sometimes people would be like too nervous to ask, especially like in virtually, of course. They would be too shy or too nervous. And my expectations are, I'm not exactly saying that's a whole lot different, but I could also say that it's the same.
Okay. Um, okay, related to your personal project, okay, for Shasha first, do you conduct research or with the survey, right?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of the surprise response from your person that you conduct the survey? Jawaban apa sih yang kayaknya? Because this your topic is about sexual harassment, right? Surprisingly, you are year 10 and then you choose that topic. It's quite wow. And what is the surprising response from after you get the survey?
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy topic for me.
Exactly.
But in the survey for the research, I asked the teenagers, I asked in Instagram, my audience, like, do you have any experience about sexual harassment, or what do you know about sexual harassment, and what do you want to know about sexual harassment? And surprisingly, there's a lot of like experience that they have faced. Like 90% of them have experienced sexual harassment, even from like catcalling until like the more heavy case. So I think it's made me more like just gimana ya jelasnya, kayak it's a really heavy things that we have to face, especially for us teenagers. So but it made me like more understand about the environment, about sexual harassment, about my age. So yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's heavy reflection. Wow. But you are doing good job. Okay, next is for Bina. Collecting the plastic, and then you create a collage and represent it in nature. It is like, what is that? Opposite, right? Sangat berlawanan gitu loh. After what? Okay, do you show it to your friends or in Instagram, or show it in maybe in YouTube or any social media?
So I did. I actually posted it on my personal Instagram.
Yes.
So
How
that
about
was,
the response?
the response was very, actually very good. I had many compliments from my, well, my family, of course, one of them, and my friends. And it was actually, the response that I got was actually how they actually learned a few things after that, and how they were inspired by my painting to reduce their plastic waste, which actually was actually one of my goals. And it was very, very, how do you say it, like, just it makes me happy that I contributed a little bit to the society to reduce their plastic waste. So yeah.
Okay, but you know there are a lot of people still use the plastic. Okay, it's quite apa ya, sedih sih sebenarnya. Okay, is there any? Oh, okay, from maybe a question from Miss Betty. I will ask. I will give you in the end of the session. From Miss Dini. Again, aside from adapting to your studies, how about socializing with your new friends?
Oh, it was well, since we're all cannot go outside regularly, of course, since we're still in a pandemic. So we would just like talk online, or like we would go virtual chat, or we would call. And then there were some times that we met, actually a few times, like maybe during birthday parties that we were invited to. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, at first, of course, as a new student, it's like one of the biggest challenges that we have to face. Like, we must like be very nervous, very scared, very shy, etc. So we're struggling, of course, but like we have to do it, just like to speak up and just like, I mean, reach out to them and just like talk to them like usual. But until now, because of online school, I think it's like more terbatas gitu untuk just communicate with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, from birthday parties, offline school, call, chats, I think it really helps us just socializing with our friends better. But yeah.
Okay. Maybe there are a lot of feedback, and we have still a lot of time, I guess. Is there any questions from the audience? Do we have? Okay, I think we're back on apa ya, my questions to your new students. And I also experienced the same thing. Previously, I homeroom in year 8, and then we have the new students. Do you feel that the new environments, apa ya istilahnya ya, kayak because you're new students, apakah kamu yang kayak make first move dulu ke mereka? Kayak nanyain dulu, hi, my name is Shasha, my name is Bina. Do you do that with your friends and then chat personal, maksudnya kayak personal chat gitu?
For me, actually, no. I didn't go first, of course, because I was too shy. So like, I was actually very glad that someone like when we first came, like there was like a group for like just the students, and like we were introducing ourselves and we were like exchanging Instagrams, and it actually felt good that time. And there was some like personally like DM me or like personally like gitu, and like I was actually very happy because I don't think I could like go like forward like on my own. So yeah.
Okay. For Shasha?
Maybe if really like in offline school, I would introduce myself first, like hi, nama apa Sasha and stuff. But in chat, yeah, I got very nervous. But I have like some mutual friends, so it really helps me just like better like knowing at other friends. But yeah, as Vina said, like they reach out to us too, so like we're glad and just like speak to them like as usual. So yeah, but I struggled a little bit more in online school rather than offline school.
Exactly. Yes, I do understand because in offline, maybe the teacher say that, okay, silahkan kalau mau berkenalan pakai personal chat ya, we don't, silahkan aja gitu. Kita nggak akan, it's a very different in a offline school. Biasanya kalau guru, ayo temennya diajak main, get something like that kayak gitu. Tapi kalau di in offline silahkan. This is like, I think our limitation during online for the Cikal, for the teachers in Cikal. So, okay, I think we can move to kita bisa mengakhiri, ntar lagi kita bisa mengakhiri ini kok. Okay, closing questions. What do you want to do with you? What do you want to do with what you have learned? For Shasha first.
Okay. Of course, I want to just like use my knowledge, what I have learned in the future in year 11 and year 12, because we're going to like IBDP, which is going to be like very challenges, like new challenges for us new student. So also I want to do just like use it in daily basis, like what I have learned like in communicator skills, thinking skill, research skills, I can use it in daily basis too. So like there's a lot of things that I can do in my knowledge that I have learned in Cikal during first year in Cikal. So yeah, for me that.
Okay, and for Bina?
Maybe like similar to Sasha, I would of course I would develop it during later for DP, and I would keep using those knowledge that I've learned continuously in my daily life, from like managing like time management and planning, and maybe for like specific subjects I would use those for later for like maybe like college, university, and so on.
Okay. Thank you to Shasha and Sabrina for your amazing session. It is great to see wonderful talents of our students and what they have learned through our virtual classrooms. I hope that you enjoyed today's session and have learned something new from today. I would like to remind you all that this event doesn't stop today. After this session, there are still a lot of activities. You can also browse through our virtual gallery on our website. You can see all our events on our website or check out other stream events on Sekolah Cikal official YouTube. Lastly, I would like to say thank you one more time to all of the audience here today. The feedback, questions, thank you very much, fellow students, sport parents, and also respected guests. Thank you for having me as your host. Good afternoon and see you in.
Sambut mentari, nyalakan layar, belajar lagi.
Sudah rindu kembali ke sekolah, tak sabar ingin segera bertemu lagi. Meskipun jauh namun di hati, tawa candamu selalu temani. Meski tak langsung menatapmu kawan, semangat belajarku takkan pernah padam. Walau